Tonight, this major storm hitting now, then moving right into the Northeast. Snow, rain, damaging winds. The major pileup already. And we have just learned tonight that actor Ryan O'Neal has died. First tonight, multiple states under winter weather alerts right across the country. An 18-vehicle pileup shutting down part of I-70. Snow, rain, and heavy winds then from Florida all the way up to New York into New England. 40 million Americans under flood watches, including New York City. Rob Marciano will time it out. The scene in court today, convicted school shooter Ethan Crumbley sentenced to life in prison without parole. What he said before the court and in front of the families of the victims and what they told him. Stephanie Ramos tonight. The professor who went on a shooting rampage tonight, the chilling 911 calls just released. Matt Rivers in Las Vegas. Hunter Biden indicted on 9 tax-related charges, taxes he did pay back. Tonight, Hunter Biden's attorneys say these are not common charges and have been brought against him because of his last name. Pierre Thomas reporting. The alleged gunman accused of firing shots outside a temple in Albany, New York. What he allegedly said, children inside that temple, and Aaron Kuchersky with new reporting. The Israel-Hamas war tonight, the failed attempt to reach hostages in Gaza turns deadly. James Longman in Israel. In the U.S., a major medical breakthrough tonight, the FDA approving 2 gene therapy treatments to treat sickle cell disease, targeted editing of your DNA to treat illness. And the news just coming in tonight, remembering actor Ryan O'Neal. From Love Story to Paper Moon to Peyton Place, his longtime relationship with Farrah Fawcett, and Barbra Streisand's words on her one-time co-star, just in tonight.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us as we near the end of another week together. We do begin tonight with this major cross-country storm. Snow, freezing rain, severe storms, and damaging winds with this from the Rockies to the Midwest, then right into the Northeast. Flood watches already up tonight for 40 million Americans going into the weekend in the Northeast, including New York City. The system starting in the west, of course, plows trying to stay ahead of the snow in Stevens Pass. This is Washington State right here. Moving to Utah, cars inching along in heavy snow in Cottonwood Canyons, east of Salt Lake City. Traffic backing up on Interstate 70 in Colorado's western slope after an 18-vehicle pileup there. And the Northeast now bracing for this by Sunday into Monday. Heavy rain and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour in some places. Let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano leading us off tonight with the forecast. Hey, Rob.
Hey, David, you saw the storm that came through yesterday, how much snow it is putting down in the mountains, and we still have winter storm warnings that are posted right now for Utah just outside Salt Lake, for Wyoming, and parts of Colorado. The Dakotas, you're getting it too. This thing gets into the plains tomorrow and really winds up and expands heavy rains into the Ohio Valley. But look at the south, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and through parts of Mississippi, Shreveport, Memphis, and into Nashville. Damaging winds, tornadoes possible too. And then this pushes east on Sunday, bringing down some cold air. I think the backside of this could bring down some snow. Most of the accumulations will be in the interior and the mountains. But look at all the heavy rain along I-95. Gusty winds too, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. That will bring down some trees and power lines. And look at these flood watches. You mentioned over 40 million Americans in that zone. If your home tends to flood, you should prep for that tomorrow because it's going to be a mess into Monday. David?
It's coming in the whole country in this one together. Rob Marciano leading us off tonight. Rob, thank you. We turn next tonight to the dramatic and emotional scene in a Michigan courtroom today. The convicted teenage gunman in the deadliest school shooting in Michigan history, sentenced to life in prison without parole. Ethan Crumbley, who killed 4 fellow students and injured 7 others at Oxford High School, and what he told the court and those families today, and what those families, including one tearful mother, told him. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, a Michigan judge sentencing Ethan Crumbley to prison for the rest of his life without parole. Crumbley sat emotionless in his orange jumpsuit and chains, eyes lowered, while over 7 hours, more than 24 of his victims, their family and friends, pleading for the maximum penalty. Madison Baldwin, 17, one of the 4 Oxford High School students killed in November 2021. Her mother, Nicole, recalling the moment she identified her body.
I looked through the glass. My scream should have shattered it.
Madison's best friend, Madeline Johnson, was saving her a seat in class.
And I waited and waited, and I finally realized that she was never coming.
17-year-old Justin Schilling, shot point blank, protecting Keegan Gregory. They were trapped in the bathroom with the shooter.
I felt then, and still feel now, the guilt of surviving. I know that if it wasn't Justin's life that was taken, it could have been mine.
Buck Meir, in tears, a framed photo of his son, Tate, on the judge's desk, remembering waiting with his wife for news.
She put her head in her hands and it said, "Not my baby boy."
16-year-old Tate rode with Kylie Osage to school that day. She was shot in the hallway.
I thought a balloon popped. I turned and I fell right to the ground.
Moving her hand, she felt Hannah St. Juliana behind her.
I kept trying to reassure her. Someone will come help us. Don't worry. Just keep breathing. Just please stay with me. I said that to her 1,000 times.
Hannah was 14. Her older sister, Raina.
Instead of speaking at her wedding, I spoke at her funeral. Instead of fishtailing her hair for a game, I curled her hair in a casket.
Crumley, who was 15 at the time of the shooting, addressing the court.
I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things that no one should ever do.
Then sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Crumley's parents were also charged in the shooting for providing their son with the gun and for failing to recognize the warning signs. Their trials will begin early next year. David.
Stephanie Ramos reporting tonight. Stephanie, thank you. We turn now to the chilling 911 calls as that professor turned down for a job went on a shooting spree on the campus of UNLV. A woman calling for help, hiding just steps away from that gunman. Matt Rivers in Las Vegas tonight.
Tonight, bursts of gunfire and desperate pleas for help.
911 emergency.
Just released 911 calls painting a chilling picture from the mass shooting on UNLV's campus.
How many shots have you heard?
Like 5. I'm hiding under my desk. I closed my door. It's locked.
Have you heard anything else before or after?
I heard some screaming.
This call from a terrified woman hiding steps from the shooter in the business school.
Okay. Who else is in the office with you?
It's just me. My boss is working from home.
It's just you and just yourself.
Yeah, just by myself.
Officers arriving quickly. Security video capturing the shootout where an officer kills the gunman.
All of a sudden I hear shots and, some bullets hit this Ford Explorer, and there was a couple faculty. They huddled behind that SUV.
Police say the alleged gunman, Tony Polito, had been rejected from professor jobs at UNLV and other Nevada schools before walking into the building armed with a pistol and a target list. Investigators believe when Polito couldn't find those targets, he shot 3 professors who just happened to be there. Tonight, we're learning the third victim killed was 69-year-old Naoku Takemaru, an associate professor of Japanese studies.
And David, police say that they have tested the 22 letters that Polito allegedly sent to university employees around the country, but police say that the white powder that was found in those envelopes turned out to be harmless. David?
Matt Rivers in Las Vegas tonight. Matt, thank you. Now to the federal charges for Hunter Biden, the president's son, facing 9 counts of tax-related offenses, accused of cheating the government out of $1.4 million in federal taxes from 2016 to 2019. He has paid the government back. His lawyers arguing these are not common charges when back taxes have been paid and have been brought against Hunter Biden, they say, because of his last name. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Heading out of the White House today, President Biden ignoring a barrage of questions about the new federal indictment against his son, Hunter.
Any comment on the new charges against your son, Mr. President?
The 9-count indictment, 6 misdemeanors and 3 felony charges accusing Hunter Biden of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes from 2016 to 2019. Special counsel David Weiss insisting that during that time, Biden was living an extravagant lifestyle, spending on drugs, escorts, and girlfriends, luxury hotels, rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, in short, everything but his taxes. Biden allegedly shelling out more than $600,000 on various women, another $397,000 on clothes, and more than $180,000 on adult entertainment. Weiss, a Trump appointee kept on by Attorney General Merrick Garland to continue the probe, has been investigating Hunter Biden for more than 5 years. Through it all, the president standing squarely behind his son.
My son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him.
Hunter Biden has since paid all of his back taxes. Today, his attorney saying if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges would not have been brought, adding that the special counsel bowed to Republican pressure. In a recently recorded podcast, Hunter Biden accusing Republicans of attacking him to undermine his father's confidence and ability to continue the campaign.
They're trying to destroy a presidency, and so it's not about me. In their most base way, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kill me, knowing that it will be a pain greater than my father could be able to handle.
Some legal scholars say it's unusual for someone who's fully paid back their taxes to be so aggressively prosecuted. The stakes now are incredibly high for Hunter Biden, who faces up to 17 years in prison if convicted, David.
Pierre Thomas live in Washington. Pierre, thank you. Now to Albany, New York tonight. Shots fired outside that temple where preschoolers were still inside. Well, tonight that alleged gunman under arrest and what he allegedly said to police after firing the gun. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, the man accused of firing a shotgun outside an Albany synagogue is being held in jail after appearing in federal court. The criminal complaint says Mufid Fawaz al-Qader, a 28-year-old Iraqi-born U.S. citizen, stood outside of the Temple, Israel on Thursday with a 12-gauge shotgun and fired 2 rounds into the air just hours before the start of Hanukkah. Authorities saying al-Qader told investigators the events in the Middle East have impacted him.
We were told by responding officers that he made a comment, free Palestine.
For now, al-Qader is charged with unlawful possession of a firearm. He did not enter a plea. Authorities are investigating the shooting, though, as a possible hate crime.
You raised me up from Sheol. You gave me life.
Tonight, in a show of support, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is attending Erev Shabbat services at Temple Israel.
The tranquility of this wonderful community has been upended. But I'm calling on all people. Don't let the forces of evil take the joy that should be in your heart right now.
Just here in New York last month, David, the NYPD said there was a 32% increase in anti-Jewish crime compared to the same month a year earlier. David?
Aaron Katursky in New York tonight. Aaron, thank you. Meanwhile, to the Israel-Hamas war, tonight Israel acknowledging that the Israeli military did try to rescue hostages from Hamas inside Gaza, but that it failed. ABC's James Longman in Israel again tonight for us.
Tonight, as Israel intensifies its furious assault on Gaza, details are emerging about a failed operation to rescue hostages from Hamas. Israel says 2 IDF soldiers were severely injured and several terrorists killed when its forces raided a Hamas hideout, but no hostages were recovered. Hamas is claiming one of the hostages was killed in the firefight, but the IDF is not confirming the death. It comes as the Israeli government is on the defense over the detention of hundreds of men in northern Gaza. New images show these men stripped down to their underwear, hands tied behind their backs, sitting in rows, taken to Israel for interrogation.
We're talking about military-aged men who were discovered in areas that civilians were supposed to have evacuated weeks ago. Now those individuals will be questioned and we will work out who indeed was a Hamas terrorist and who is not.
Hani's brother Mahmoud was among those men. He says he has no affiliation with Hamas.
The level of humiliation is unprecedented.
Late today, Hani confirming Mahmoud, his son and their father were all released. And tonight, fierce fighting in southern Gaza's biggest city, Khan Yunis, where the IDF is hunting down top Hamas commanders. People's homes destroyed. 2 million now displaced. Those who escaped the bombing now living in plastic tents with limited access to food, water or protection from the elements. And with more than 17,000 Palestinians killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, Secretary of State Antony Blinken with some of the strongest criticism yet of Israel's offensive.
It is imperative, it remains imperative that Israel put a premium on civilian protection. And there does remain a gap between exactly what I said when I was there, the intent to protect civilians, and the actual results that we're seeing on the ground.
And as for that failed rescue operation, David, the IDF says it did kill Hamas fighters involved in the October 7th attack, but that all 137 hostages do remain in Hamas captivity. David?
All right, James Longman live in Tel Aviv for us. Thank you, James. Back here in the U.S. tonight into a major medical breakthrough. The FDA approving 2 new treatments for sickle cell disease. One of them, the world's first gene editing therapy, targeting certain DNA and changing it to fight illness. Could it eventually help fight cancer, diabetes, and ALS? Here's ABC's Faith Abube tonight.
Tonight, the FDA approving the first 2 breakthrough therapies for sickle cell disease, offering what some researchers call a functional cure for many patients with a debilitating blood disorder. The treatments have the ability to edit patients' DNA in targeted areas, leading to the production of healthy cells and alleviating the excruciating pain and organ damage caused by blood cells that mutate into a crescent or sickle shape. One of the treatments, Casgevy, is the first ever approved therapy that uses the novel gene editing tool CRISPR-Cas9, a kind of molecular scissors which has the ability to remove and replace highly specific sections of DNA.
As we continue to advance the science and the data collection behind it, it is hoped that we can then expand those who are using it.
Connecticut 15-year-old Jonathan Lubin was one of the youngest patients involved in the trials. His family says before he received the CRISPR-Cas9 therapy, he was hospitalized every few months. Now, the teenager says he hasn't had a painful attack in over a year.
Before this whole treatment, it was always, maybe, don't go because you might have a pain crisis. But now, not that I have free reign, but I'm able to do a lot more stuff that I used to be able to.
And David, the treatments are only approved for patients 12 years and older. They do come with many risks and hurdles. They're expensive. They require patients to stay in the hospital for several weeks, and they may jeopardize fertility. David?
Faith Abube reporting for us tonight. Faith, thank you. When we come back on a Friday night, the 16-year-old high school cheerleader found dead in her home by her mother. The fast-moving investigation tonight. And we learned late today that actor Ryan O'Neal has died. In a moment here, we look back from Paper Moon to Love Story, his relationship with Farrah Fawcett, and Barbra Streisand just out with her own tribute tonight. Tonight, authorities are searching for the killer of a high school cheerleader in Edna, Texas. That's about 100 miles southwest of Houston. The body of 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina was found in the bathroom of her home. Her mother, discovering the body, worried because her daughter didn't show up to perform at the town's Christmas parade. Authorities have not revealed how she died or if they have any suspects tonight. When we come back here, the late news tonight that actor Ryan O'Neal has died, we look back at so many big movies and what his family is saying tonight. To the index of other news tonight and to the economy, gas prices falling to their lowest level in 2 years. Gas Buddy reporting tonight that the median price of gas has now dropped to $2.99 per gallon. That's the first time since 2021. More than half the gas stations in the U.S. tonight now below $3 a gallon. We'll take it. When we come back here, from Paper Moon to Love Story, remembering actor Ryan O'Neal and Barbra Streisand's tribute to her former co-star just did tonight. Finally tonight here, we learned late today that actor Ryan O'Neal has died. He had a run of unforgettable roles in the 1970s, even when his daughter was stealing the scene. Tonight, O'Neal's career, his longtime love, Farrah Fawcett, and the tributes already pouring in. Actor Ryan O'Neal first catapulted to fame and captivated audiences in the movies in the 1970s. His first big break, though, came before in the TV soap opera Peyton Place in 1964, side by side with Mia Farrow.
Service with a smile, drive you straight to the door.
It's out of your way.
Yeah, made in your way is my way, didn't you know that?
Then the movies, his third film making him a household name, the 1970 blockbuster Love Story. And the famous line,
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
At the time, one of the highest grossing films ever, earning him an Oscar nomination.
Then don't leave me, Jenny. Sure we can, honey. Daddy was just fixing to leave. This here is my little girl. It's just the...
There was 1973's Paper Moon, co-starring with his 9-year-old daughter, Tatum, who won an Oscar for her role.
I told you I don't want you riding with me no more.
You still owe me $200.
In 1979, alongside Barbra Streisand in the main event.
I'm not a fighter.
You're not a fighter?
Do I look like a fighter?
No.
Huh.
Tonight, Streisand sharing this image, writing, he was funny and charming, and he will be remembered. O'Neal would act alongside Farrah Fawcett, and the two would share a 17-year romance. O'Neal battled leukemia in 2001, with Fawcett by his side. And then he was there for her when she battled cancer.
She is so brave and so positive and confident. It's heartbreaking.
Tonight, his son Patrick saying his father passed away peacefully today at the age of 82, calling his father his hero, saying he died, quote, with his loving team by his side, supporting him and loving him as he would us. Ryan O'Neal, remembered tonight. I'll see you for an all-new 2020 tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm David Muir. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.